Hey, got Drewz Viewz here, back for some more Peaky fucking Blinders. Season 2 going strong up to the penultimate episode of Season 2, Episode 5. Last time on, well, we saw old Grice coming in at the end. She seems to be in town. Tommy seems to know about it, give her a call. But her husband picked up instead, and so he didn't say anything, so... Got to assume Grace and Tommy will, well, at the very least, I think we'll see her doing some stuff in this episode, if not getting reunited in some way with Tommy. Meanwhile, Tommy might have some bigger fish to fry, as it were. He had this, with Tom Hardy's character Solomon's, he had an agreement to move into Camden Town in London, but he might have been overstepping his bounds with his men and everything, so last episode, Solomon's had a little tete-a-tete with Sabini, his main rival, and they seem to indicate that they're going to wipe out the Gypsies and the Peaky Blinders from London, so I don't think Tommy knows about this yet. He had taken over the club there, with or Arthur did specifically, and then Arthur's been all on the yay, so Tommy told him to straighten out, even though he's the one who got him into it in the first place. Straighten out or I'll send John in to have a turn. Meanwhile, Tommy is also canoodling with a new lady, the horse trainer, rich widow. They got down to business, but it seemed to me at least like, I think he still obviously cares for Grace and she still cares for her dead husband, so I think it was just kind of I don't know if it's going to be a new romance necessarily here. And of course we still have Campbell coming in. He wants Tommy to whack some guy who's under police protection. I think it seemed like it's something for the IRA specifically, or something mutually beneficial to the IRA and the government, but we only saw a picture of the guy. I think it's some old general or some military figure, but we'll see if there's more of that this time. I don't know, I think it's going to be a big episode. Oh, and of course the cousin Michael coming in, got a job from Tommy. Tommy thinks Michael's only going to be doing the legitimate side of the business, but as we know from most gangster films and everything like that, that usually doesn't work out too well. And even he was even scrapping Michael with the Jamaican preacher's son in a bar last time over some racism issues, and then Arthur and John went and burned that establishment to the ground. So I don't know what. Like I said, I think we'll get some Grace this episode. We'll see, I mean, who knows? Maybe she reunites with Campbell too in some way. We'll see what happens. A lot of things are going on. I think this could be an episode where Tommy and the boys take a bit of an L here, but we'll find out. Let's get right into it. There's Tom, Solomon's, what is it, dog yaz or something? Oh no, sheep.
Just stop the noise.
Oh, so Campbell is actually using his prostitute landlord. With a red right hand.
Welcome. Let me just say, shalom.
Arthur might be in some trouble here.
Amen.
They're gonna bust Aunt Polly in some way? I don't know what for.
Amen.
All right.
Oh, everything right.
Really, don't worry, mate. You know what I mean? If you want, you can leave.
I think he has a good instinct on this one.
Thousands and thousands of years.
Persecuted, right?
He did. He persecuted my race. Evil fucking Egyptians had pushed their fucking luck.
Arthur did that to this guy's face, I think.
It's a goat.
Yeah, they were gonna sacrifice him.
You've named it.
He fucking did. Yeah.
It's gonna be something to do with the Peaky Blinders. Tommy or something.
You know what we called him?
What would you call him?
Probably Shelby.
Should have left, although they probably just killed him outside, but don't know how Arthur's gonna get out of this one. Are they actually gonna kill him? Where is Tommy, by the way?
The blood of the Passover goat, mate. That's from Sabini.
Whoever comes down south shall return north in many fucking pieces.
This fucking animal, he come in here, right, with a fucking gun and a razor and shot him in the face. And my lads, they was training him, so... Look at him, he's dead. Is he dead?
Okay, I see. Frame job. Now I wonder what the charges on Michael are here.
You should
as of this night, Tommy Shelby is finished.
But he still didn't do that job for him yet, though, so what's going on here?
Goldfish in them. I eat the worm eggs.
Goldfish.
I'll take it in the drawing room.
It's for Mr. Shelby.
Well, of course it is.
I have your brother in a prison cell, charged with the murder of Billy Kitchen. And I have no doubt that his destiny is to hang. Michael, he has already admitted to helping Arthur burn down the Marquis pub.
That's what it's about.
I have your entire organization in disarray.
You want from me?
Just wants you dead.
Tommy Shelby is not afraid to die. I needed also the power of life and death over your family.
Well, he's handing Tommy this L right now, but I feel like he's getting over cocky here, Campbell. Grace? Oh, yeah. Not the best timing.
Grace, this is not a good time. Business
They
first.
took Michael
I said
last
business
night.
first. Polly,
Picked him up
business
as well.
first.
Fucking hell.
It's family only. She's not blood
Let us
Tommy.
speak.
Or is this a business? Have you forgotten what family bloody lease?
They can give us men.
We don't need more fucking men. This life is bad.
I've been saying, this marriage into the Lee family is one of the best things Tommy's ever come up with so far.
Imagine riding away, Thomas.
He's not gonna run.
If you ever talk about getting lost again, I'll cut you.
Come to see my son.
Your son has been having a hard time of it, I'm told. We should do whatever we can to get him freed. What would prompt me to do you such a favor?
You know, flip on Tommy in some way or something.
With respect, I would say that I know more about Tommy's dealings than you do. He doesn't trouble the family with Irish business, for instance, does he? Oh. So, no.
Wait a minute.
I'd ask, could you give me?
It's the banger?
I'm talking about a simple transaction here.
This might be what does him in here. Ultimately.
Please, sir,
Please, sir.
when I'm finished.
I don't like.
So, I need a favor, Mr. Campbell, sir. And I will do anything in return. That's what you might have said. So respectable with your son and your house and your mate, but I know what you are. Cry.
You made me cry.
Yes. Yes.
This is tough to watch, okay.
We'll get Michael free as well, I promise.
There's no need to let him out in the morning.
Poor and Paul. Is he gonna be a hard man now?
The screws told me why I've been freed.
Ugh.
I thought it was funny. Maybe it is.
This is fucked.
What are you doing, Tommy?
Shoveling shit, Scully. Just like you.
I hope we see Grace again this episode. Oh, as soon as I say that. Exactly what happens. Wonder if her husband's like a businessman or something, that's why they're here, I don't know.
Far too gorgeous to somehow have blind auntie.
She's really going to see Tommy, I imagine. I wonder if she's considered a fugitive in England or Campbell didn't really report what happened. I guess you might be too embarrassed about it or something, I don't know. Still probably not a good idea for her to be seen in general, though.
Sell vans with your name on it at the docks.
Impounded, probably.
My plan was that we'd sit here for a while. Talk about old times, drink some whiskey. And I was going to tell you, I hadn't spent a day without thinking about you. And then we were going to go upstairs and sleep together. Changed my mind.
As a matter of fact, I am happy in New York. And I am married.
Oh yeah, he's rich, I know.
And he's sweet. And he's kind to me.
But you're still here. You're not armed, Grace, are you?
No, I'm not armed.
You don't have a sense of humor anymore either.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about.
I hate reunions. So now, I know you're happy in New York. I know your husband's rich and sweet and kind here. I know you're unarmed. And you didn't come here for sex. Because you don't love me anymore. And it's only 3 minutes past.
Oh, Tommy.
See, my real plan was that we go out.
Going out doesn't seem like a good idea for either of them, but...
But you've never heard Charlie Chaplin speak.
This isn't a picture house.
No.
So you gonna actually be there?
Look then.
Oh my god, it's him. It's really Charlie Chaplin in person.
Yep.
Doesn't he normally have a little Hitler stash?
You see, Wag is also around when he gypsy, as is Chaplin, but he keeps it a secret.
Interesting. Wonder where they get this Chaplin look-alike. Probably not a huge amount of call for that in this era.
You said you knew my sister's address in Primrose Hill, so I expect you've men watching the house, see who comes and goes. Well, tonight you men will see me return to the house with a very beautiful woman. She will stay until just before midnight.
This is his real plan.
I'll close the curtains. Can you guess who the woman is?
Liar!
Sleep well, Mr. Campbell.
Tommy, to have someone.
Just some horse trainer.
This wasn't right, Tommy. They're doing tests on us. I don't know when they're finished.
Like for a baby?
We're trying for a baby.
Why did you come here tonight?
Doctor believes it's surely me who's at fault.
It's no one's fault.
I'm tired of that, Doc.
You used to work in undercover, eh?
I have never lied to him once.
Except for today. Is this Arthur? Going to see Arthur? Yeah. He's probably not doing too well without his
enjoying yourself?
white stuff.
Well, you tried to hang yourself twice. Now the king's gonna do it for you.
I used to draw the horses. Stallions.
I heard those are hard to draw, horses.
Tommy, he's got a plan. But you don't know what that plan is, do you, John? Because we just kill him. We can't be trusted.
He's already told me what I've got to do.
I mean, that was a pretty good bet from Arthur that he would tell no one about the plan, whatever plan he has. This is the house with the guy that Tommy's supposed to kill, I think.
The beautiful north where the rocks
John's gonna do it.
in the beautiful north.
The goldfish.
Came in to tell you we have to stop. There's someone. No, the damage isn't done. Is what I mean.
You talk about damage. The damage not yet done. You don't think that half of London already thinks that I'm fucking a racketeer? Laughing about it, laying on bets about when you steal the silver. You think your people are ruthless? Try mine. Who is she?
The one that got away. So far.
You've told me about her like a gentleman. I'll kindly behave like a gangster again.
Good line.
Because your horse will come fifth or sixth.
I'll keep everything locked up, Mr. Campbell.
How is your company treasurer?
I assume Tommy doesn't know about what he did, but who knows?
Field Marshal Russell's house was burnt, and he will have to find somewhere else to live for at least the next 3 months.
I'm a soldier of experience, and I will determine where and when.
Now that man has 24-hour armed police protection.
Was full of holes. Mr.
My plan
Campbell.
was mutually agreed.
Well, now your plan is up in smoke. He will come to me. Your relationship with Mr. Churchill is not my concern. I will carry out my mission, but I will do it in a place where it will be impossible for you or your men to have me shot afterwards. I've recently become a racehorse owner, Mr. Campbell. Well, perhaps you can guess which one is my horse.
Oh, with the name. Tommy does like to get his business done at the racetrack. There's a whole thing from last season. So, all right. Like I expected, the Campbells took some hard L's that time. They're definitely scuffling on their heels. As usual, Tommy seems to be pulling it around at the end. But it was a tough one to watch in a lot of respects there. Of course, the toughest part was that son of a bitch Campbell. You know, he's always pissing me off. But no, he's always doing morally questionable things, especially given that he's supposed to be taking that. You know how he's hypocritical basically, but how he regards the villains or whatever, you know, the criminals, but what he does himself. But he really stepped well over the line this time with coercing Polly like that. He's got to go. That fucker's got to go.
Fucker's got to go. Go. The fucker's got to go.
I really hope he bites it in the following episode, the finale of season 2 here. And of course, Tommy's the one to do it, and Polly, that would be even better, honestly, after this one. But yeah, and that's tough. Then Michael comes out of jail. Obviously part of the whole scheme is to tell for it to get out what he did, Campbell did. So that also puts Michael off as well. And you know, it's hard because obviously his mom did it for him, but I kind of can see too as like a younger boy or whatever. I mean, he's 18 or whatever. That if you find out that's what happened, everyone knows about it, then it's tough too. I mean, I would have liked him to handle it better, obviously, than he did coming out of jail there, but hopefully we'll get a scene between them next time too where they can come to an understanding, patch things up a bit. Obviously it was a mistake for him to get involved here at all, so I mean, she does have some responsibility in that regard, letting Tommy or whoever else talk her into all this, but it's tough, you know. And so yeah, he was framed entirely anyway. He didn't even participate with Arthur and John with burning that bar down. And then Campbell's plan. So Campbell also seemed to be taking somewhat of credit for Arthur getting arrested, but clearly that was just a setup of Sabini and Solomon's. Although I guess they have police on their side too a little bit, but I don't think they would have directly involved Campbell in that. They don't even seem to know him or anything, but who knows? I mean, I'd see why I'd take credit for everything going down anyway. But yeah, I think he's really Campbell. He's really overstepped it this time, and you know, Tommy got some revenge on there with the whole Grace thing, but and that was fun. You know, fun seeing when he calls him and says, you know, who I'm gonna be with, all that, but. Something falling down over there outside or something. But yeah, that was a fun scene when he calls him, saying, you know, who am I gonna be with and all that. But ultimately, I mean, Campbell needs worse. He needs to die. But at the same time, with the Grace Tommy stuff, that was an interesting scene. Probably one of the more interesting scenes. Their conversation and then what followed. I wasn't sure where it was going at first, but I mean, obviously he still loves her. We already knew that. Grace, more complicated feelings. Obviously, she has some regard for him. If she does love her husband, which we don't really know, but I mean, she says he's kind and sweet to her all, which I can believe that, but she still went ahead and did this. And then they're trying to have a baby, she can't have one. When she was saying, like, the doctor's blaming me, or the doctor thinks it's me, they can't have it. For a second, I was wondering, like, oh, so is that part of why she's sleeping with Tommy, to, like, see if she would get pregnant by him or something? But I think I was overthinking that one or something. It didn't. Probably wasn't it, but just it was kind of a weird line there too, or I don't know. Maybe I misinterpreted something there, but that's what I thought for a second. But anyway, I don't know if they're still gonna get together. I mean, then it was tough between him and, fortunately I'm blanking on her name, but the horse trainer. And it was interesting too how she said, like, everyone knows about it already in my, like, high society, and at a certain point it was kind of a game for her, I guess, a little bit, or she's just intrigued, but she still then kind of got the upper hand at the end there. I don't know. I don't really feel bad for either of them in this too much, I guess, even though it is a bit of an emotional scene. But ultimately, I mean, it probably wouldn't work out that way. And I didn't think they really liked each other that much anyway, but they're, like I mentioned before, just kind of using each other a little bit. And she says the horse will come and fed their sex, so I don't know. We'll see if the horse does win, if it even races, something gets in between. I assume the next episode will be all of the Derby there, the Darby, I guess it's called. I wonder if that's just the English way to say Derby or what. It probably must be. Then, yeah, whole Arthur, of course. I'm not sure what, John visits him in the prison yard there and says, like, I know what I have to do as part of my plan to get Arthur out. And then that's the bombing the house that leads to what Tommy's going to do, bringing the guy to him, killing him in a different spot. I'm not sure what that exactly has to do with Arthur getting freed, but I'm sure it will be ultimately. And it was pretty funny in a dark humor type of way. John said, you already tried to hang yourself twice. Now the king's gonna do it or whatever. But yeah, I'm assuming he'll be out. Now I'm definitely curious to see what goes down with Solomon and Sabini. Is this gonna go? I feel like they wrapped up the whole kind of villain or antagonist to Tommy last season in one season. This time I don't necessarily think that's gonna happen. I think the Sabini Solomon stuff will probably carry on to the next season. I don't know how they'll wrap all that up in this one. But like I've been saying, I hope they do wrap this Campbell thing up. Will we see Grace next time? I don't know. We may well. Maybe we'll see another scene between her and her husband. I would be curious about that. Maybe we'll see them going to the doctor or something. Yeah, so a bit of a tough episode there, but it was a good one, definitely. Some emotional stuff, some high drama, and we'll see hopefully some action there next time with Tommy coming through. And look, he deserves to some of the stuff he's getting. I'm sure he'll come out on top ultimately, but and again, feel really bad for a character of Paul. It's obviously extremely tough being a woman, even to this day, but in society, but let alone 100 years ago at this time. Doesn't have much options there. So even when you're like a strong character, people still find a way to, knock you down a peg in some bad ways.
It's men that have done the damage.
Not as much with Grace, but to a certain extent too. She doesn't have as much option. Maybe. We'll see. But, alright, that's going to do it for Drewz Viewz, Peaky Blinders, Episode 5 of Season 2. Back next time for the finale, Episode 6, Season 2. Looking forward to that one. Please join me for that. Please subscribe or comment if you like these here videos, and check out some other reactions as well if you like. And until then, we're out of here. Peace.
Please send